Welcome to another episode of Lunch with the Shark. Join us as we dive deep into discussions about business, accounting, and finance to help you build a business that thrives. Now sit back and have a bite with your host, the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa.
Well, hello. Welcome to a new edition of Lunch with the Shark. I am your host, Vidal, the Shark CFO, Espinosa, and I am super happy here with you on this gloomy afternoon, Tuesday. It's a bit gloomy. And it's funny because today it's National Pizza Day. And we had pizza last night for dinner. Well, we actually had sort of Italian for dinner, but nevertheless, we actually had a pizza for dinner last night as well. So happy National Pizza Day for everybody that loves pizza, right? Interesting that everything has a day. Everything. I wonder if there's a day for make a business decision day. Interesting, because we're talking about business decisions. And you know what? I'm going to share with you a bit of a dilemma that I have. And it's actually based on business decisions. And I researched, or I actually, is it possible in business or in life to have the best of both worlds? What do I mean about that? Can we have the best of both worlds? Like the phrase, the best of both worlds, it's a situation where one can enjoy two different scenarios, right? But one of the scenarios, it's either in the line of the legal matter, or you step that boundary where it becomes not legal. In business, the thing that it's the best of both worlds is that we get a benefit from that decision that we make, and our taxes are lower. Now, that's tax planning, you'll say, but when it comes to taxes, the IRS, the states will come back and say, hey, I don't care who, but someone's going to pay the taxes on that. If it's an expense for you, it's income revenue from somebody else. Just look at that. So somebody's going to pay the taxes on that revenue. Because if it's not an expense for you, it's profit. And you actually pay taxes on your profit. So whomever gets that profit, some way, somehow, has to pay taxes. So ultimately, best of both worlds would be avoiding taxes here and avoiding taxes here. So where is it? Now the balance, you must do an exercise and balance it out and say, hey, if I pay taxes here, I will reduce taxes here, which is tax planning, right? Planning, it's like scenarios. But how do you deal with those individuals that want to have the best of both worlds, regardless? How do you explain to them, or how do you make them understand? Because lately I've been in situations where, and this is in general, when something doesn't go your way, or when something is not what you expected, you immediately become disappointed first. Second, you're being told, no, you're not listening. This is what I want. The thing is that you are not listening, because the moment we say, this is something that it's not possible because this and this and this, and we're going actually against your belief, we're going against what you were expecting. We're going against your premature hope. No. You're not listening. Well, I'm so sorry, but we are listening. And we are telling you the consequences. Whoever is not listening, it's you. You don't want to listen or hear or know about the consequences. You just want things to happen the way you expected them to happen. Is that a business decision? Now, are you willing? Are you willing? Are you capable? Do you want to accept the consequences of those actions? Now, those actions are decisions, right? Those actions are really thought through decisions that you made, and you pondered, you balance, you analyze the consequences. Now, what are those consequences? Are those consequences also whatever you believe they are going to be? You are just, yeah, it's just a simple penalty. Yeah, it's just a slap on my wrist without knowing any further consequences. Now, are you really willing to accept those consequences? Is anybody telling you the truth about those consequences? And I'm telling it to you because it has happened more often on and on. I understand that some people are struggling to not to make ends meet, but they want to keep more money for themselves. But they don't want to invest the money on planning. They want to do it the way they've been doing it. Now, the fact that others are doing it in the industry doesn't mean that it's legal or right or right for your industry. The fact of that they do not know the consequences, nor the processes, nor their systems, nor what the government or the tax authorities are doing, that does not grant you the right to do whatever everybody's doing in your industry. Oh, in my industry, this is the way it's done throughout. Well, good luck. Good luck when somebody in your industry, it's actually reviewed thoroughly by any tax agency. Guess what? They're gonna be like, ding, 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 ding. Let's issue audits to everyone that we think they are in this industry because it's the norm in your industry that you're doing this. So it's a cha-ching for the government. We have revenue here. We can go and collect taxes, penalties, interest, and guess what? We are going to take a couple of you down and use you as guinea pigs and examples. So anybody that wants to do this in the future in your industry, remember what happened to them. Just remember what happened to Martha Stewart, inside trading, lying under oath. Guess what? She was put in prison for 6 months, 7 months, I don't remember. Federal prison. Martha Stewart for inside trading and lying. Was it granted? I don't think it was it. What was it? She was set up as an example. Oh, but I am not as big as Martha Stewart. You might not be as big as Martha Stewart, but you might be somebody in your industry, somebody that people turn to you. You're out there. You're a public figure. So just be careful. The best of both worlds does not exist if you do not plan. But somewhere there, you have to give in a little. It's not you cannot pay no taxes. It's like you cannot avoid regulations. It's not like you can do whatever the hell you want and create your own laws and systems and I don't care. I'm just going to hire them like this. Or I don't care. I'm just going to pay them like this. Dude, somebody's going to end up paying for that. And whatever it is, it's taxes or penalties, civil penalties, or even prison. So just be careful when you make those decisions. And today, we're going to talk about how business owners make those decisions. As a business owner, decisions pass across your desk every single day. Every type of decisions. From what color to paint your office to whether you need to change your opening hours. Those are lame examples, but you get my drift. These aren't the type of decisions we'll be looking at here. This covers business decisions that you have to decide when wrong or right it's necessary. The more decisions we make, the easier the decision process becomes. What separates good companies from amazing ones can be the decisions making that takes place where? Up here, not in your head, at the highest level of the organization. Yeah, because those decisions are the ones that move the company forward or backwards. Not the decisions from underneath you or at the very bottom. Those don't. Those decisions are to run or move the company on the day-to-day. But the decisions up here, on the top, on the head, those are the ones who are going to make it or break the company. So let's go and talk about 4 decisions that will make or break a company. And I'm meaning good company from an amazing company. Decision number 1. We've spoken about this. The right people to work with. The right people to work with. Your team. A company cannot grow unless it has the right team working for it. Think about the future aims of your company as set out in your business plan. Are you current team members able to carry out the work needed in order to see the plans through? Will you need to hire better skilled team members or retain your current ones? These are the type of questions you'll be needing to ask yourself. You must be true to yourself. Yesterday, I actually posted an image where it was like a little gift, a little movie, where somebody was trying to mop the beach, and the waves kept coming in, and he kept mopping and throwing the water out. And the message there was like, are you those type of people that try to control whatever you cannot control? Are you trying to control situations where things are completely out of your hands? There's no set question or questionnaire when it comes to how to hire the right team to work with. There's no right or wrong. There's no set of rules. But what there is, it's your experience and the advisors that will tell you, we do think that these are the right people for you, or these are the wrong people for you. And actually that happened to me yesterday for a client that we advised for. They called us and say, hey, this is not working out for me. We cannot do this and this and this and this and that. I said, well, we have a process in place. But they don't want to go through that process. And if they don't want to go through that process, then they're not the right people for your company because they do not follow instructions, no process and systems. There's nothing wrong with doing anything necessary to achieve your goal. But if you don't have processes and systems, you cannot scale, you cannot grow, you cannot move forward. And if those individuals can care less about rules and regulations, they're wrong for your company. Decision number 2. What are you? There was a time when business could offer everything a customer needed. A physical shop, an online shop, online customer service, an address to write to customers service, phone support, and the list goes on and on and on. However, in recent years, this focus has changed. Business have found that they were spreading themselves too thin. So the focus is now towards the best channels for them. You will need to decide on the best way to have your business, which could mean thinking of how your customers will want to find you. It's better to focus on one channel and provide it well, rather than multiple channels and provide them poorly. This can mean the difference between a customer having faith in and being loyal to your brand, or looking elsewhere for better service. Look, customers in general, and just put yourself in their shoes. You're also a customer, regardless of whether you deliver a service or sell a product. You also are a customer for somebody else, right? And most of the times, if not all of the times, your problems are migrated to those companies. And you want to make them their problem. And they're going to contact you through every single avenue that you have available for them. In office, through email, through text message, through phone call, through WhatsApp, through Boxer, through Telegram, through this, through that, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to bombard you, right? Through every single channel that you have available for them. You probably do the same when you have an issue with a problem, with a product or service that you've hired. The problem is not them. The problem is you. First of all, that you allowed it. Second, that you provided them so many ways on getting hold of you. The question here is, what are you? Are you there to provide value, or are you there to simply put out fires that are not yours? Putting out fires might be valuable, but that's not the scope of your service, is it? Just think about that. Oh, but we have to give everything for the customers. No, we don't. We do not have to give everything to the customers. Why? Because then we'll make the customers dependable on us, which there's nothing wrong with it, but the decisions need to be made by them. The problem here is that they're shifting the decision-making process to you. You would become responsible if something goes wrong. But that's my job as a consultant and advisor. No, it's not. Do you think that's the job or of a psychologist? Oh my God, I want to kill myself. I am depressed, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, this is not a joke, okay? And then all of a sudden, he kills himself. So what, are you going to blame the psychologist for not telling this person or acting on his behalf and holding the hand for not to take those pills or cut their veins or throw themselves out of the cliff, whatever it is they utilize to kill themselves? It's not the psychologist's job to do so. Now, the psychologist might be a bad psychologist if that happens because they didn't do their job well. Well, maybe not. There's so much that they can do. Same as advisors and consultants. We advise you, but we don't make the decision on your behalf. So what are you? Number 3, how to cope if your business is struggling. There may come a time when your business isn't coping as well as you would have expected. Failure happens. Newsflash. Failure happens, and it's normal. It's part of the growing process. It's a natural part of life. But what you need to do is to learn from it. What can be done differently? What didn't work? Was there anything at fault? And listen, was there anything at fault? Not anyone at fault. There's a huge difference between anything and anyone. Then, when you learn from these mistakes, your business will come back bigger and better. Don't just sit in the corner licking your wounds. Hells no. Don't just do that. Learn from it. Shake it off. Let's walk it off, people. Next. We learn from them. We don't point fingers. We don't point fingers. Because ultimately, you are the responsible one. You allowed it. No, but it wasn't my decision to. Yes, it was. Because you allowed it. But it wasn't, it was out of my hands. No, it wasn't. You were not paying attention. Oh, no, but no, it's your fault. You would be the ultimate responsible one. So I would highly advise you to not look at who was it? Whose fault was it? The thing here and the question here would be, was there anything at fault? Okay, so learn from those mistakes. Learn from those mistakes and identify quickly when those issues are happening again so you can take immediate action. Do not delay them. Do not delay them. And I actually had a conversation this morning with a very, very close friend of mine. He's also a client. And I said, you know what? If you're bringing on another client in this same model as we are utilizing for this client, my recommendation is that we learn from that. And instead of suggesting for this amount of investment, have them show you, sort of like if you were buying a house and you the buyer requests proof of funds, have them show you proof of those funds in those bank accounts so the process of the business can run smoothly. Learned. Guess what he said? Great idea. It's a consultant advisor's job to put in our consultees those ideas so they can make the decision. So they can think that they made the decision and feel good about themselves. Sometimes you actually have to hold their hand and say, you're going to do this, but it was your idea. And number 4, what are your goals? Yes, that's a decision making. Goals. Without goals, they cannot be growth. It is as simple as that. So how do you define your goals? The best goals are ambitious but achievable. This is the part which can be a struggle to get right. Hey, if the Wright brothers would not have thought or dream about flying, we would not be having airplanes. Oh my God, that's unimaginable right now. But in their time, holy crap, they're crazy. They're never gonna get out of the ground. Only birds can fly. Oh my God, we're never gonna get to the moon. That's for extraterrestrials. Oh my God, cars are never gonna fly. Hells no, it's not possible. Oh, computers? No, let's not even talk about computers. And guess what? Computers are small now. This is a computer. But somebody had a goal. Take the goal of doubting yourself and double your production of any specific product. Double it. And then you double it again. And then you double it again. You compound it. But the wish or the goal of doubling your production and doubling your production and doubling your production from there brings me another question to how will your business do that? So break this up into small plans. This could come down to doubling the workforce, hiring a larger premises, so a bigger complex, and streamline processes to reduce maybe waste, reduce purchasing of the raw materials, and the list goes on and on and on. Think about every scenario. Break it into little small pieces. But businesses are fluid and ever changing. So goals should be flexible too. What if you find that you have a high employee turnover after doubling production? Your goal could then change to retain employees, and you would have smaller goals based around this. Because what? Unfortunately, companies cannot control to an extent the turnover. It's people's desires. You might not have a good company culture. That's a bell, that's a red flag there. So you need to look into that. You see how everything it's panning together and coming together? Everything is a puzzle. You may find that having step-by-step plans for the future will help your business. Failing to plan, it's planning to fail. There's probably more decisions out there that will need to be made. But by making these 4 decisions we just spoke about, your business should be on the right lines. But no one wrote a book about owning and running a business, and everyone's experience will be different. You can follow books. You can follow mentors, advisors. You can follow leaders in your industry. But there's always one little detail that changes everything in everybody's experience. Even if you can imagine that your problem is identical to theirs, there's one minuscule difference that makes the difference. That it's completely different, that actually shifts everything, and the solution that they implemented does not fit the solution that you must implement. You need to tweak it in the same amount of degree that changes. Be careful. Be careful. We're going to end up today's show with a quote from Jeannie Rometty, first female CEO of IBM. And she said, "Growth and comfort do not coexist. Growth and comfort do not coexist." Wow. This phrase falls right in place for my experiences for the last couple of days with some of my clients. They want to grow with comfort. Growing pains, people. Growing pains. It's been great seeing you today. See you tomorrow. Bon appetit. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Lunch with the Shark. If you would like to set up a consultation with the Shark CFO, Vidal Espinosa, visit his website www.invictus-advisors.com, and don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn.